viewers, this is Naveed. We have another episode today. This episode is a bit different because you have suggested us many different ideas to have this program a little different than what we have been producing. So today you are going to see a lot of segments based on current affairs, community achievements, sports. I'm pretty sure you will enjoy it.
Well, the city put together, like I said, an emergency operations center well before even the province had declared a state of emergency. And because they're so forward thinking, we've even gotten to the place where we are now, even financially, we are some of the envy of the top 10 biggest cities in the country, just because of how our city staff and mayor and council have handled the whole pandemic. Well, what we do is obviously we always look towards what the provincial health officer regulations are in place, and we make sure that we're following those guidelines. We're making sure that we have all the protective equipment in place. But we're doing some really good initiatives. We get, because of this Emergency Operations Center, they have put out, and I've got it in my hands here, 97 reports. And they've kept mayor and council updated and all of the city staff updated on a daily basis. But what they do is bylaws, RCMP, all city staff put together like an enforcement team, and they go out and they check businesses, and the rate of compliance is phenomenal, what we're finding. And I've got some of the stats here, the most recent updates, like the bylaw businesses have been checked. There's 121 business checked, rate of compliance at 81%. So our city, the staff is doing a fantastic job. Residents and businesses are doing a really good job. We do not want to have to shut down our businesses. You know, you see incidents happening in downtown Vancouver where all these young people on Halloween were just not following the protocol. And we're finding now in the Fraser Health region that the number of incidences of our diagnosis of COVID are coming much higher in the under 19 group. So, you know, and that trickles down to the seniors that they might live with, and young people. I think it was Mike Farnworth, one of the provincial ministers, that said, you know, you can't legislate stupid, but you can certainly fine it. And I love that saying. I thought it was priceless. So, you know, we really need to get on top of this. Bylaws, especially for things like the social distancing, the PPE requirements in City Hall, even the restrictions are really high. We keep masks, and of course you don't mandate it because the provincial health officer hasn't mandated it yet. But we believe that residents want to keep each other safe. Apparently, right now, actually, as we're speaking, the provincial health officer is saying on a media release that we're going to keep now gatherings only to your own immediate family and not have any guests over for a couple of week period anyway to get these numbers down. As you know, I campaigned with the Safe Surrey Coalition back in 2018, and we stood on 3 pillars in our platform. One of them was the SkyTrain. We were going to switch the LRT and go to SkyTrain. The other one, very big pillar of our campaign, was to switch out the RCMP to a Surrey police that was made in Surrey, by Surrey, and for Surrey. That's what we had campaigned on. We promised it. On day one, we were going to do that. And on November 5th, 2018, we did that. The City Council unanimously voted in favor of both of those pillars of the campaign, and even one person that wasn't part of our campaign team voted in favor of it as well. So unanimous support on council, and we got busy and did the job right away. Well, you know, since then there has been a little bit of fallout on council, and I think that's more political than any other thing. I'm going to say I think it's all healthy to have a bit of a opposition and keeps everybody accountable when you've got different positions and such. But I stuck to my word, and I know that the majority on council right now has stuck to their word. We gave our promise, and that's what we were going to do. So when this whole move came to keep the RCMP in Surrey bunch, you know, and some councillors were perpetuating that kind of stuff, saying that, you know, it was going to cost too much to go to a city police, and it just wasn't true. The numbers had come out. We approved our budgets back in December of 2019, and so anything now, even there was a move that said, you know, we're keeping the rec facilities closed to pay for the mayor's police. Well, it's not the mayor's police. The mayor is one vote on council, and we have a majority right now. The majority of people on council still supported what they stood for, and I think as politicians, that's all we have is our word. And you know, often I think it's no wonder people don't think politicians lie, because most of them do. But I know, you know, for me personally, it's what I stood on and what I'm going to stick to. So when the province went to a provincial election, we were thrilled with what John Horgan had said in the NDP government, that they were going to put the SkyTrain to Langley. I mean, that was phenomenal. The public engagement for that, the SkyTrain line, has been higher than it's ever been on any other line in support of putting the SkyTrain from where it is now in city centre all the way to Langley. And then also the provincial Liberals decided to make it you know, a bit of a thing that they were going to enforce a referendum, and I don't even know if they legally could have done that. But to me, I was very surprised at that. I wondered why, you know. For me personally, I think you believe stick in your own lane. When you're provincial politics, you're under certain jurisdiction, and you make laws based on that jurisdiction, and again with the municipalities, and again with the federal government. So I think it was maybe not the best idea to do that, but so be it. And I know that there was you know, tremendous support for you know, for that political party, for the BC NDP. And for myself personally, you know, I tend to be a little bit more fiscally conservative, if you will. And I thought to myself, at this point, I have sworn an oath to the City of Surrey. I have a fiduciary responsibility to do whatever is in the best interest of Surrey. And for me, it was a no-brainer of who to support in the provincial election, because I had stood on that SkyTrain all the way down to Langley, and I had stood on municipal police. And we're very close to getting our police chief. We are so close. And again, once the police chief is hired, then they start the recruiting, and the police board and the police chief kind of take all that out of the hands of city council. And what we do is we'll approve the budgets or when they come to us. But that was one thing that the timeline is going, you know, wonderfully, and we're very excited about that. I am anyway. And the SkyTrain is going to be taken, like, the funding is going to be done in a different model than the TransLink funding. We had already secured that funding from TransLink for the SkyTrain to go from where it ends now in Surrey to Fleetwood. But now with the extension, I believe that the province is going to take it over, and they will be able to directly fund that line, and then it'll be in the, under the purview of the province as opposed to just TransLink.
Thank you, Naveed, first of all, for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me for being on your platform, and you're doing a fantastic job, so keep it up. And I'm honored to be a guest on this platform. So just a little bit about myself. My name is Eugenia Garkova, and I'm originally from Russia. I was born there, lived there for 9 years, then moved to Germany, lived there for 9 years in Berlin. And then moved to Canada when I was 18 years old. And it was quite challenging because it was a different, completely different platform in terms of like culture, in terms of people, what I was used to. So, but I think we all face challenges on a daily basis, and we grow from it. And it was a great experience in Germany. And like I said, I moved to Canada when I was 18 years old. So absolutely, again, another challenge in Canada, absolutely different culture, and which I had to adjust to. And I did, and I love this country, and this country provided me a lot of opportunities, a lot of fantastic experiences, what I took so far from this country, and here I am. So previously, like I said, when I moved here, I was a student, so I went to the college, studied business, and then right after the business, I started working for the arena. It was not easy to get into the arena, but once you have the determination and you know what you want, you can achieve pretty much anything. So, and I did. I started working there right after my school. and worked there for 6.5 years, and then I moved to Vancouver from Manitoba, Winnipeg, and then I worked here at the stadium because I was provided an opportunity here. And after 4.5 years, I started my own business, which is EG Event Productions. Right, guys, just to take you back a little bit to the entertainment industry, how I started with the entertainment industry is, again, as I mentioned, is when I finished school. And right after that, I started working at the arena, and I was really, really blessed into how many performers I worked with, how many acrobats, how many film shoots. It was absolutely an amazing experience. We produced over 140 shows every year, including the Winnipeg Jets games and other games, which was amazing. And some of the acts I've worked with, and as well performers like John Bon Jovi, Eagles, probably some of you know, AC/DC, that's just just some of them to name. Fantastic experience. One of the challenges for me was coming from Russia is being very direct, you know, very up there, wanting to go, where in Canada it required a little bit of softer approach, and that was for me a little bit challenging to try to speak to people in their language. You know, which I find is very, very important. If you're a business owner, friends, whatever it is, it's important to learn to speak people in their language, and that definitely taught me to adjust and speak to person how they can take the approach. So that was my experience at the arena, and then I had the opportunity to, like I said, move to Vancouver, where I produced larger shows. So the arena was anywhere between 20 people to 15,000, and at the stadium, BC Place Stadium, it was again 50 people, small meetings, to 55,000 people. So that was my largest event I've done so far, which I'm very, very proud of. It was definitely couldn't be doing it if you don't have a fantastic team around you, and we definitely did, and were able to produce those massive events. I was actually sitting at my girlfriend's lounge one day. It was an outside patio, and I was telling her about how unmotivated I felt because I felt like I kind of hit the glass ceiling in my career, and I was just not growing anymore. And it was a fantastic team at the BC Place Stadium. It was a fantastic experience, but I needed a more challenge and more growth in this area. And I said, what can I do to change that? Because in my opinion, if you have a choice, which you always do, you can make that decision, and I can actually proceed to what you want to do, because you want to wake up in the morning and be happy for what you are doing and not just working for a paycheck, because life is too short. And that's the decision I made, to start my own business. And as I mentioned, it's EG Event Productions, and I left the stadium and started my own business. It was scary. It was challenging, I'm not gonna lie, because I knew what I'm facing. Scary in that sense that it's a completely different industry. Like entertainment industry, you already know people, you're already familiar with this area, but now you're entering a completely different world, which is the corporate world, establishing new relationships and basically moving forward where you, without any support, basically you had to do everything on your own. But in my opinion, you can't do things 50-50. You have to go 100% here or 100% here. You can't have your feet in both sides. Otherwise, you cannot produce 100% in what you do. And again, that's how I kind of moved away from the stadium and started my own business. So today, with my business, I help corporate clients to increase their authentic engagement with their staff and clients through epic online and in-person events. And I've had this business now for over 2 years. While I was operating my company, as I mentioned before, first couple of years, it is definitely challenging before it takes off, right? Because it's a brand exposure and relationships. And my one recommendation to anybody who's starting their own business is focus on the relationships before actually looking at that person as a dollar sign, because you cannot do business if you don't have a relationship with that person. So this should be your priority, to win that trust from that person, and as well get to know this so they can come to you for a service or product. So once my company started going up, obviously COVID hit, and we all were sitting there and thinking, what are we going to do now? Because people were lost, people were depressed, people were scared, and they weren't sure how to proceed with their business. I had those moments too, but mostly I kind of get myself together and actually look for opportunities. And where are the opportunities? Because in my opinion, you can sit at home and cry about it and be upset about it, or you can pick yourself up and look for opportunities, because there's lemons, there's lemonade, right? You can always make lemonade out of lemons. So, and I pivoted. So how I pivoted is to again see what is there available. And what I noticed is a lot of companies which I would require in order to operate my business pivoted as well, which was fantastic news, like audiovisual companies, like catering companies, decoration companies, basically anything related, right? You can do anything virtually. Obviously it cannot replace the in-person experience, because I think nothing can replace it, because once you meet with people one-on-one, that's where the magic happens, because you create that fantastic energy exchange and you get to know this person. But saying that, I picked myself up and looked for opportunities. And right now I'm doing consulting work and as well hybrid and online events. That's where I pivoted from doing in-person events for now. Events are not going to go anywhere. They're eventually going to start picking up. When, I don't know. But we need to focus on right now what we can do right now, because this definitely is going to benefit to a lot of businesses and as well individuals operating their business if they pivot to online. And I was actually speaking to numerous businesses, and they're not comfortable with pivoting virtually. But my response is, you basically have no choice, because we don't know when this pandemic stops. So that's why you can, again, sit there as a business owner and be upset about it, or you can see where there are opportunities. And in my opinion, there's for every business an opportunity. Now with this virtually, while people are getting more comfortable with the virtual environment, it actually provides you more opportunities. Now with your business, not only in Vancouver, but now you can take it to other countries, other cities. You can do summits, you can do online events to showcase your product, to educate people on your product and what you have to offer. So there's lots and lots of opportunities out there. So don't sit there and be upset about how everything else, but actually pick yourself up and look for opportunities, because you will definitely see some benefits. Right. So the final message, what I would like to send to everyone and encourage everyone, is supporting each other. Right now, a lot of people are sitting at home, and again, they're depressed, they mentally not well, they financially not well. There's a lot of unfortunately a lot of things going in people's life, and you might not see it because they're not showing it to you, but you never know what's going on behind closed doors. So what I encourage you to do is reach out to those people. How can I help you? What can I do for you? But don't look at them for something in return. Look at them actually saying, hey, I am here for you no matter what it is. If you are financially well, see how you perhaps can support them. If you have food at home, see how you can support them. If you have a place to stay and somebody doesn't have a place to stay, offer them. Because I think right now it's extremely important to support each other, because together we are much stronger. We can go through this together more than if we are on our own. Again, please reach out to your friends, to your family. How are you doing on the phone? Not just a text. Just reach out, a really phone call. Hey, I'm here for you. I appreciate you. Please let me know if you need anything. because people will value that. Some people perhaps they're not comfortable coming to you and asking for something. So this is the take that initiative to come to them and say, hey, I am here for you and I will support you with all the resources I have. Again, this will at the end strengthen the relationships, and you guys will bond way more if it's a potential business relationship or friendship, whatever that is. So help each other, support each other, and have a fantastic rest of your day.
This is Naveed Waraich, and we'll be talking about cricket, and especially the series that is being played between Pakistan and Zimbabwe. Due to COVID-19, it has taken a little bit of toll on all sports, including cricket, and including all countries, including Pakistan as well. That it has taken a little bit of a break, and then all these players, they're coming back to the playing ground, which is a great news for all sports people, and including all nations, and including Pakistan. What that really means is you have a bit of a rusty players who are trying to get into their groove, but at the same time, Pakistani team hasn't played a one-day international or even test matches or T20s for a long time. So this series, Pakistan and Zimbabwe series, is being played right after the domestic cricket that is being played. There was a T20 tournament through the Qaid-e-Azam Trophy, and also right now there are other 2 days and 4 days matches that are happening, first class matches that are happening, quite competitive. It's wonderful to see some of the new generation players that are coming all about. Some of the excitement as Pakistan always had about the fast bowlers, the power generators, and some good batting. We always are very excited to see the batsman like Babar Azam and how he's developing into the new forms and roles of cricket. So talking about Pakistan, Pakistan cricket has taken a bit of a readjustment once again. So now we have a new captain, Babar Azam, in one-day internationals as well as T20s. T20s he was leading before, but now he's also part of the one-day international leaders group. What does he have? What combination he's going to make? I think it's all a trial and error method. It's also what he's got is what it takes. He's got some of the older players. They were playing with him before, the likes of Hafiz, so they're still being included. But then there are others. They're probably not being part of it. Wahab Riaz is also one of the players that is being considered as a senior player who will play with the youngsters, and then we will define a different type of crickets. Now, the one-day international series between Pakistan and Zimbabwe, that has been concluded. That consisted of 3 one-day internationals. Pakistan won 2. They lost 1, which was a very close match, which actually tied, and then it went into the one-over game decider. Was that expected? No. Pakistan and anybody around the world expected that Pakistan will win all 3 one-day internationals and clean sweep it. Did it happen? No, it didn't happen. It's also good news because Pakistan right now would like to see what works for them and what doesn't work for them. They didn't want to be overconfident, because what's happening is after this series they are going to play against New Zealand, and New Zealand is a very standard and developed team, and we're going to play some T20s and a couple of test matches in New Zealand starting in December. So let's talk about the current series again. So one day international, Pakistan did win the series. Was it impressive? Let's talk about batting lineup. I'm thinking, as always, you're going to have one batsman as Babar Azam. He looks like on a purple role for a long time, and purple form for a long time, and he's still on it. Babar Azam scored 221 runs with an average of more than 100 per game, which was fantastic. But what's disappointing is right after that, there are 3 or 4 other names. They're not Pakistanis, so they were all Zimbabwean. So Zimbabwe had a good batting groove happening with the Brendan Taylors and Sean Williams. And I think Wallace Motherwere, I think he impressed everyone with the talent that he's got, and I think he's got a lot of cricket ahead of him, and which was a good news for him. A lot of people, they probably sometimes they don't know, or they don't really pay attention because Babar Azam too big of a player, or developing as too big of a player. But at the same time, if you look at Imam ul Haq has got better averages in one-day internationals at least. When you talk about the cricket batting in Pakistan, so Imam ul Haq is there. Is he developing to be one of the greats that is yet to be seen? Is he developing to become a permanent member? That is also yet to be seen. But Pakistan experimented with Fakhar Zaman. Pakistan experimented with the new batsmen, the likes of the Haider Ali and Khushdil Shah. They both impressed quite immensely. That the domestic T20 we talked about in the beginning of the program. So they impress you with some power hitting. Have they impressed with the long innings? Probably not right now. And so that is the experimentation that Pakistan is going all about. Talking about bowling, again, the best bowler of the series was Muzar Rabbani, and I think he impressed everyone, especially in the last one internationals. He actually won the game for them. So he had the top wickets of 7. The rest, got 5 wickets apiece, kind of thing. So, but Pakistan did impress with some of the power battery with Hasnan and Wahab Riaz. Shaheen Shah Afridi has been a power game for us. He, the left-hander who brings the ball in, which is quite a talent for any of the left-handers, because naturally they take the ball away from the right-handers. But he brings it in. But the mixture of going in and then making it out with the wrist, I think that will take a little bit of a talent for him. He's quite destructive and impressive. But he did take 5 wickets. He did win the game for Pakistan, but then the rest of the series didn't go very well for him. So that was a bit of a disappointment. So overall, one-day international, I think Pakistan played well, but they didn't win as per the plan of clean sweeping everything. So it's still a good thing because they're still trying to experiment and they want to see what really works for them. So because of a new captain, that is something trying that will happen. We'll come very quickly to the T20s international. So Pakistan played 1 T20 against Zimbabwe. That was last night. Pakistan chased 156 runs and they chased very easily. Zimbabwe again, Wallace Motherere, he played really well with his 70, beautiful, with the not out inning, and I think that was the highlight of Zimbabwe in bowling. It was a good bowling. I think Haris Rauf is doing really well. Hasnan did really well as well, but Usman Kader is a son of the legendary leg spinner Janab Abdul Qadir Sahib, and I think he's developing into something good. Obviously, he's a young player, he's a young lad, and I think he will develop into something. So that's where after Yasir Shah's leg spin, we're trying to gain the momentum so that we can give more chances to this young man. Again, Fakhar Zaman looked really good for his very short and brief 19 runs. But then again, you have the undestructive Babar Azam with 82 runs, and he took the game away from Zimbabwe. But it's yet to be seen in T20 that if Babar Azam, who's also the opener, if he goes early, how is Pakistan going to survive? That is a question. Now, this was after the end of this T20s. Pakistan really is looking into how are they going to impress of very fast pitches of New Zealand, and that is their summer in New Zealand. So anyways, thank you very much. That is all from cricket, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much again for watching.